Hey, what's going on, everybody? Listen, do you have a brokerage account? I think that everybody should have a brokerage account. I'm gonna give you two reasons and also an example why I think everybody should have a brokerage account. Number one, the first reason is your job is not safe. It is not secure. Unless you own the company, you're not 100% guaranteed to own your job. Example is Oracle Corporation fired 30,000 people via a 6 o'clock a.m. email. So they laid off 30,000 employees, about 18% of their workforce, so they can redirect billions of dollars in cash toward AI dinner or AI data centers expansions. So data center expansions. So this strategy was done to save Oracle $8 to $10 billion annually in free cash flow to help finance a massive $150 billion AI infrastructure build out. You see, the employees are not the primaries of these companies, these corporations. The corporations care more about shareholders and building value for shareholders than they do employees. So your job is not secure. You can walk in tomorrow morning or Monday morning or Tuesday morning and get an email. There was no warning at all for Oracle employees. They walked in, there was no, we might do some layoffs. They walked in, opened their email, read the email, and said, today is your last day at work. So same thing can happen to you. You think your job is security, but it's not secure. Second reason is you need to have access to growing cash or growing cash flow or growing investments. So imagine if all these employees had all their money into their 401ks or their retirement accounts. They don't have access to it. If 2020, when COVID hit and all these people got laid off, taught you anything, is that you need to have access to cash that is growing. I'm not talking about just an emergency fund sitting in a savings account that's not growing. I'm talking about cash that is growing so that you can utilize this cash flow as needed. An example of that is I had a friend that had $25,000 that he had in a credit union that was sitting there for like 4 or 5 years, not growing. So he put the 25,000 in. 4 years later, guess what? It was $25,000. So he was like, man, I need to invest this money. I got to get it growing. So we took that 25,000 November 2022, November 10th, 2022, took that 25,000, divided equally amongst 5 different companies: Apple, Broadcom, Nvidia, Amazon, and Tesla. So now if he had done nothing, that 25,000 as of May 25th, 2026 had grown up to $146,000 just from the power of compounding, not from moving money around, not from rebalancing, not from doing anything, but just allowing the companies to run and allowing himself to be an owner in the company. Now, this individual continued to invest in these companies and also added a couple of other ones to the portfolio as well, to the point where it was roughly around $250,000. Guess what? Something happened. He needed $20,000. Now, if he had taken the $20,000 from the credit union, if it was still there, then the credit union would have been left with $5,000. Now, the only way to get that 5,000 back up to 25 would be you have to put the $20,000 back in. It's not like that when you own shares of great companies. So the 250,000 by selling some stock. Some people, for whatever reason, are afraid to sell shares of stock. That does not stop the remaining shares from continuing to grow. So that 25,000 or 20,000 that was used, that left this account roughly, let's say, 230,000. If the shares of the companies that he owned increase in value by 10% of the remaining 230,000, that's $23,000 right there. So unlike a regular savings account or something of that nature where you have to actually go in and physically add it, the companies can continue to grow and the shares, and I know for a fact that they have actually increased back in value by that 10%. So organically, they have replaced the $20,000 that was needed for whatever tragedy or whatever emergency was needed at that particular point in time. So when you have shares that you have of great companies and you sell some shares, guess what? The remaining shares continue to grow. So you're able to continue to have money that continues to grow over time, even if you have to use some of the shares from your brokerage account. So, and people call it a taxable brokerage account to make it seem like you get hit with all these taxes. However, you are not taxed on unrealized gains. So if you invest, you buy shares of a company like Tesla doesn't pay a dividend, Amazon doesn't pay a dividend, so they can continue to grow without you being taxed at all. So in fact, if you just look at this aspect of the companies that he bought, the taxable income for 2026 will be $309.42. So it's grown by 121,000. This is in a brokerage account. It's grown by 121,000, but the taxable income is $300. I would gladly have my taxable income increased by $300 to have access to $150,000 and to have that growth that you're not taxed on. So now, when you do sell shares, that's counted as income. But it's income that's taxed at the capital gains rate, which is less than income that you earn from your employment. So you're able to continue to have money that continues to grow. And guess what? As long as you continue to invest, these shares can continue to grow over time. You're going to have some ups and downs here and there, like the tariffs from last year, or the ups and downs at the beginning of this year because of the war or whatever's going on with the companies. But over time, your money can continue to grow, and you have access to cash that is growing. So if something comes up, you can be able to utilize that for whatever you need to. All right. So number one, open your brokerage account. And you have to look at what are the best. The best ones for me, because of how I invest, is I buy businesses to own. I don't trade stocks. And anybody comes along, I say, look, if you buy good businesses, the power of compounding is so powerful that if you buy good businesses and you leave them alone and let them compound, then your money will grow at a much more rapid rate than you think is possible. All right, so don't be afraid to open a brokerage account. In fact, you probably need one because you want to have access to growing capital, not just money that's sitting in a retirement account that you can't touch. All right. Oh, and also Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Fidelity. Those are what I call adult brokerage account. Robinhood pushes gambling a lot, so you get caught up in that gambling atmosphere. So you want to be an investor, not a gambler. All right, so don't be afraid to have access to growing capital. In fact, you need it. And you never know when some situation comes up. And you don't have to be afraid to sell some shares of stock. Mackenzie Scott does it all the time with her Amazon stock. All right, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.